Coach Prime's $54 million contract's already doing work. And it's not just doing work for Coach Prime, it's doing work for the Colorado Buffs. But you knew that. I knew that. But sometimes we all know that everybody needs to know a little bit of proof to back up what we already knew. You know what I'm saying? You picking up, putting down. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, a competition that's happening. The quarterback room is something that it definitely caused a lot of attraction early on. But I think as we get into the spring game and we head into the summer practices, we'll start to amplitude some more attraction as we go on. But we're getting a lot of good noise thus far early into it. And I really starting to think, man, this Colorado quarterback room might be better off. And I've said this already, but as we get closer to it, better off than some people may want to believe. Let's roll the intro. Let's talk about it. Smash the like button if you want to. If not, I get it too. Let's get it, baby. I flushed my juice down in the club. Yes, sir. Good evening, good afternoon. Good to see it. Like I said, Coach Prime got paid. We all knew that. We were talking about it. And the biggest thing that I said that it was going to impact, not only would it impact for just obviously Coach Prime and just college football in general, but what I was focused on is how would it impact recruiting for the Colorado Buffs moving forward? Because we all know, we've heard about it, all of the slander that was being thrown towards the Buffs and Coach Prime, and of course the noise outside of that of him going elsewhere, him not going to stay at Colorado. And I kept kind of pushing this agenda of like, there's no reason to leave. It's kind of a nice little avenue to the playoffs. And he says how much he loves it there in Boulder. And I've seen plenty of clips to where I'm like, I kind of like Boulder too. But we just didn't know if he was going to be there. Then he put together around him and an elite coaching staff with some of the most just Hall of Fame NFL players you've seen. Another appeal to why go play at Boulder. But you need the pinnacle. You need the big chess piece, the queen, if you will, or the king piece that is going to stay established. And that, of course, is Coach Prime. And now that's locked in. Well, Andre Hart, the linebacker coach, spoke to this about how it's already impacting recruiting. He said it's already been helping. You've got guys who've even hit us back, and they're giving us the thumbs up and the praise, and they want to be here. It's a tactic that I think only works on people who have a little bit of doubt, because any coach can leave at any time. Nothing's guaranteed. It's been exciting because we get a lot of feedback, and a lot of people are calling us back. Now, we're going to talk about some recruits that we'll be visiting in here this upcoming weekend. Obviously, they were on spring break. Back in action, put some pads on. We'll be probably dropping a video. Well Off Media, they always do a great job of giving us content from these practices. We'll be doing another video on that, just what we're seeing, what my eyeballs are seeing, giving my thoughts and perspectives and opinions on that as well. But just again, love hearing the fact that people are calling, because again, they probably loved everything. They love what Colorado was providing. They loved the pitch that Coach Prime was pitching. We've heard about his recruiting tactics where he won't go visit, but he will bring you here. We're going to show you what we're going to do. They play think about this in a relationship aspect. They play the cool guy at the table, right? They're the guy that's going to ignore the girl that always gets the girl. Everybody can't do that, because then it's not sexy anymore. It only works for a couple of for the cool guys. Coach Prime's a cool guy. He can pull off that move to where it's like, listen, I'm not going to chase you. I've already told you I like you. Be sitting over there if you want to come hang out. And there's just a kind of a nice little bit of an appeal that gets everybody turning their heads and attracted. There may have been a concern of, again, loyalty. That's been settled. Now they're already seeing some ROIs, and not just in the bank account for Coach Prime, but on the football field as well. As for who is visiting this upcoming weekend, some big-time guys. 3-star quarterback Brody McWhorter, 6'2", 205, will be visiting this weekend. Next up, 6'1", 230, linebacker Malik Morris. A&M's heavy on this one. I believe Florida has been crystal balled by a few Florida insiders for him. Lakeland guy in that Florida atmosphere, but we know Coach Prime has no problem diving into that pool and ripping guys from Florida, has proven to do it and have success with it. And again, guy like Malik Morris, big-time 4-star linebacker, looking at A&M, looking at Florida. He more than likely won't go into those places and play right away, given the linebacker depth at these respective schools. Maybe at A&M, I know they're kind of like more of a rotating door over there. Bateman, the defensive coordinator, phenomenal linebacker coach, always an appeal, always a great attraction for them. But we know how Coach Prime has pitched his recruiting, right? How he has pitched, how he will go after these recruits. If I'm talking to you, if we were having a conversation, it is because I believe that you will play very quickly. That is the purpose of this conversation. Now, do I believe that Brody McWhorter will be into that conversation? No, you got Julian Lewis. But there's different strokes, obviously, in different styles when you got different situations with the quarterbacks. That's a little bit different. But linebacker, I believe Malik could be somebody that comes in and plays right away. And then a four-star offensive tackle, Johnny Jones Jr., 6'6", 305. The offensive line has been a big one that I have been focusing on. Offensive tackle, again, same position as Jordan Seaton. A position that I believe the Buffs can have some major success with, just given what they were able to do with Jordan Seaton and how much success they had with him. Now, transition and offensive line coaches could have a little bit of a setback, but I think if they could show some progress early, they can overcome that hurdle very quickly. And again, the new offensive line coach has a lot of great reputability as well. So love seeing that the visits are starting to happen. We knew this was going to happen going into April. Obviously, the spring game is going to be happening. These recruits, it's as unorganized as it may appear. It's actually quite organized, I would say. A lot of these guys are going to start making their visits come April, May, and June. And honestly, probably put the hammer down and make a commitment. They'll still go to probably some games, but honestly, you're starting to see a rotation where this next games coming up will be the 2027 more recruits than the 2026. Your 2026 commits will be there to help solidify, to help recruit, and then you'll have a few that'll probably come in from this 2026 class that you're trying to overflip and overturn. But ideally, you want to try to roll into that 2026 or 2025 season with a pretty good healthy base to that recruiting class. That seems to be this new, I would say, method of recruiting. Now, could it change? Yeah, it changes every year. So for me to sit here and act like I have all the answers, that would be asinine. But I just try to keep up with it and see how other teams are functioning and to see how they can pluck their way through it. But one thing I will say for certain is Coach Prime's never followed the everyone's path. He creates his own path, his own yellow brick road, if you will. So maybe I should bite my tongue on that. Let's talk about the quarterback. I wouldn't say drama. I would say hype party. Because listen, when this conversation initially started, when Salter was visiting Colorado, and I was like, this is a big pickup. I kind of got some flack. They're like, there's no way he's coming here because Lewis was promised a starting position. And I kind of tried to back off the people off the ledge a little bit and say, listen, this would be a massive haul for everybody involved. Great opportunity for Salter, a great opportunity for Lewis. It's a win-win if you look at it in the right eyes, right? I know these kids come in, especially quarterbacks who want to play right away. That isn't always the best move or the right move. You may think it's what you want right away, but if you're able to kind of take a step back, there's a sense of maturity and growth. If you can see if I may not be ready because the speed from this game to this level is massive. And so we're hearing about kind of some noise. Here's what Arnie Walker had to say. They're both battling out. We're getting different feels from both quarterbacks. Obviously, Caden has been in the game. And then you got a freshman in Julian. I think he's been coming along as well. I think both will be really good. Here's the thing for Colorado. As a fan, you got to look at this and be pumped. It's a win-win situation. For the first time, look, I think what Buffs have with Shedeur was something special. Like that, you're not going to get that, right? But here's what I would also look at. Buffs had that, and you kind of saw the ceiling with that. If I'm looking at this and say, hey, if we can upgrade in 3 other areas and take maybe a step and a half down in the quarterback, I think you could probably have the ceiling goes up a little bit more. You improve in defensive areas here, there, and there. You're able to provide a more of a established offense on the ground, right? Have a more wholesome offense to where instead of what it was. Again, I think you're able to do more. So I think what this provides is going to be a different and a new look. But I don't think they take a step back in success because I think what Salter brings to the table is somebody that is very capable of doing the job and being very good at quarterback. Again, doesn't give you necessarily the ceiling at quarterback that Shedeur did, but the ability to win, I still think he has that. Big time plays, maybe not as much, but hopefully you're not in those situations as much because the offense is ran a little bit differently. Maybe you're taking a little more time off the clock. You're wearing out those defenses. I think there's going to be a different look and feel to this Colorado team than what we saw last year. So here's the thing. Salter, if you go look at his film, a very capable, can have success at this level quarterback. If Lewis beats him out and is the starter, then you're in even better hands. Because if that beating him out that much and he's that much better, that's a great place to be. If Salter starts for the first couple of games and Lewis kind of catches up in the middle of the season, you're still in great hands. So as much as I know the shiny new toy, which is Julian Lewis, want to see him play, I think the Buffs are in a fantastic situation in the quarterback room. I think it has the potential to be one of the top quarterbacks rooms just because of the talent that Julian Lewis brings and what Salter is bringing, right, just what he already carries. And who knows, new atmosphere, new coaching, new offense may unlock things that we haven't necessarily seen from him yet either. So I think this is a great opportunity for the Buffs. For me, again, unless Lewis just comes and knocks him out of the water, I would love to see Salter, kind of run away with it. But you're hearing it. Look, he's making some progress. And I also love this because if Lewis just came into this role, the ceiling for him would be lower because he wouldn't have something to go and chase. Now he has something to chase to constantly elevate the room. Again, I think the room as a whole is in a much better place than it's been since Coach Prime has been there. Again, Shedeur was phenomenal, but it was very thin. Like it all kind of, laid on that. And this is not to take away, but I think there should be some excitement, some optimism heading into next season and what this team can bring. And again, with just the fact that you have Byron Leftwich coming out, I think that's a massive, massive key point to this for both quarterbacks. And that's my point too, with Salter, what he's going to be able to do. And of course, you have Marshall Faulk in the running back group. I mean, you got to be excited for what this offense is going to be able to do headed into next season. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. As always, you don't do smash the like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section how you are feeling. Again, more videos we drop and we're rocking and rolling. We're in the middle of it, in the thick of it. We talk about recruiting as much as we possibly can, where we're able to get those intels. Without further ado, boys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love, baby.